In today's FX markets, I want to focus on the British pound today. The British pound, a pretty big mover. Nice rally on the British pound. We saw most of the majors higher against the US dollar today, British pound being the biggest mover today. And with that, we're seeing the British pound challenge 6-month highs. And looking at price action in the British pound, we've seen it now up 4 straight days and pushing up towards that 1.30 level. Now that's the high end of the range. You go back to, I believe, it was October 21st when we saw it up at these levels, and prior to that, you had to go back to May. So we are definitely at the top end of the range for the last 6 months when you're looking at the British pound. Some of the factors today, I think you got to point at certainly the U.S. dollars. We're seeing some weakness there, primarily on the fact that the trade negotiations are stalling out or appear to be stalling out. Heading into that December 15th deadline. We're also having trade issues continue, the likes of Brazil, as well as overseas with the Eurozone, as far as some other trade initiatives and some areas of structural issues where they're having some differences, and we're seeing rhetoric picking up in those fronts as well. All that led to a very weak equity market dynamic today, and with that we saw the dollar come under some scrutiny as well. And also we look at interest rates, we saw interest rates a big move today in reaction to the trade situation and the uncertainty surrounding it. We saw the bond market rally significantly, yields being pushed back down to really 1 month or better lows. And again, that's another headwind, I believe, for the dollar, which parlayed itself into some of the majors seeing a nice strength today. Looking at the trend in the British pound, we got a couple things here. I think you look at it, the trend really for the last couple months, you were seeing a very tight range in the British pound. 1.28 on the low end, 1.30 on the top end. There should be some resistance up here. We're running into some heavy resistance. As I mentioned, this is a 6-month high range when you look at the British pound, touching those highs that we saw in October, not piercing them yet, but certainly threatening to go higher. And when you look at the pending election coming up on December 12th, that is in sight now. We're about a little over a week away from that election. The trend has been fairly positive for the Conservative Party, which would mean that Boris Johnson might have the votes necessary to get something done here before the January 31st deadline. And with that, that's another reason, I believe, why we're seeing the British pound pushing up to these levels where we might see a breach of 130 as we roll into those elections, particularly if there's a positive result for the Conservative Party.